I was down here eating dinner with my wife, and my wife's poking on me saying, hey, you make sure that you're up there and gracious and humble. And shit, that's going to be hard after seeing how cool I am. Well, what do you guys think of this handicap podium? It's really nice. Troy Johnson from Fab School built this for us and donated it to us. So this will always be here at the Off-Road Hall of Fame, thanks to Troy. Thank you, Troy. Also, at this point, I need to thank Jeff Rennick. He and I have something in common. He's in a wheelchair also. He become a fan of mine. We become close friends, and he bothered the Off-Road Hall of Fame for a few years to get me in here. So, Jeff, thank you for that. Now, this gentleman, Spencer McKenzie, I met him 34 years ago. My boss, Walter Boss, opened the door. A news reporter got out of my car, said, Evan, this guy's going to ride with you. His name's Spencer McKenzie. I said, well, get in. We hooked him all up. I told him all these gauges need to be pointed straight up. I have the gauges timed that way. If they fall anyway, you let me know the car's not running right. Otherwise, sit there and have a great time. We went on to win the race, and we've been fast friends ever since. I helped him get his, thank you. I helped him get his grease business started. He and I, one day after my race, we sat there for a couple of hours talking. He asked, well, what should it look like? You know, I said, well, I love yellow, of course. Yellow's good for me. So he went with yellow, and his grease is green. I said, well, we got to have green on the package, too. So after talking for a few hours, he says, Evan, you know what? Thank you for helping me get this started. Your number's number 5. I'm giving you 5% of this company. Spencer, thank you for always loving me and taking care of me. Thank you. Now, we certainly have to thank Michael Gaughan and this beautiful hotel that he provides for us. And the Gaughan family has always been special to the Evanses. We go hand in hand together. We have great time. Brendan, tell your dad thank you for doing all this. Now I got to thank my parents, of course, for my dad installing my never give up attitude and teaching me if you want something bad enough and you work hard for it, you can accomplish anything. And for also giving me a winning vehicle for the first time in my Jeep. I had a great time racing it until I got hurt, and then I had a great time at the end of the year climbing back in it to finish what I started. So thank you, especially for Phyllis. She talked my dad into putting the hand controls in it, so thank you, Phyllis. Now my crew, I got to talk about my crew a little bit. My crew's very special to me. My crew is all volunteers. I've only had one employee on my payroll, and that's really all I could afford is one employee. But my crew, they're all volunteers. They worked really hard for me throughout my whole career. I can't thank them enough. They have been so special to me. They've always gotten the job done, always know what I needed, and I can't thank them enough. Thank you, crew. Now that brings me to the GM Mobility and Chevrolet, of course. It was so nice to finally get their attention because I was racing on my last dollars. They came on board, which was really nice because it gave me a chance to give back a little bit. So some of the tracks, Crandon and Bark River, they didn't have very good handicap seating areas. So once I landed GM and Chevrolet, I went to them and asked them if they could please help me get handicap seating area at those tracks. They were more than happy to help with that. The first race I went to, I just got done racing. I went out to watch my dad race at Crandon. They thundered down the valley off the first straightaway, got to the first corner, and everybody stood up in front of me, and all I got to see is the guy's T-shirt in front of me. Luckily, it was a Walker Evans T-shirt, and my dad won that race, so it wasn't that bad. But thank you, GM Mobility, for helping me put those handicap areas up and giving back to the sport that I love so much. Well, Potawatomi really was nice because it was an Indian tribe and they were at all the races. I felt the love, I felt the support from them, the local support from them. So thank you, Potawatomi. I'm very proud to say that I started my races on BF Goodrich tires and I finished my career on BF tires. So thank you for that too, BF. All right, this brings me to my wife, which she's not just my wife, she was my spotter as well. She kept me safe on the track, kept me out of trouble. I can remember one time Scotty Taylor flipping me going into the first corner at Bark River, and I'm in the middle of flipping and crashing, and I hear on the radio, "You got 4 tires, everything's good, keep going." And I'm thinking to myself, well, let me finish crashing. So we ended up finished crashing, and she's telling me, everything's good, go. So she was more than my spotter. She was my pep rally. She kept me going, kept me charged up, kept me calm. One time at Anago, I was leading the race and I was on fire. Long sweeping corner, all the axle grease would go out to this outside wheel, and it must have had a cut in it, and it'd catch on fire right at the end of this long sweeping corner. And there's an official right there watching, and I could see him about wanting to pull the flag, but he'd let me go by, 'cause as soon as I get on the straightaway, the flames would go out. Well, about 3 laps into it, and now the white flag's out, I hear my wife on the radio saying, "It's not going out this time, you're on fire big, but it's behind you. As long as you keep going, you're okay. Keep going to the finish line, and don't stop until you find somebody with a fire extinguisher." That was just her mentality. She kept me calm, kept me safe in the car. I love you for that, honey. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees, past and present. Thank you guys for that, and good job getting inducted.
God bless you, Evan.
Thank you, thank you. All right, now I'm going to finish this with a little story about my dad. Sorry, Dad. 6-year-old Evan got left in San Felipe. You heard at the beginning of the movie that my dad would come home from work, he'd put a second set of shocks on, he'd put a thick piece of plywood on the bed, he'd put the ice chest and all of our luggage underneath that, and then a camper shell on top of that, and put some sleeping bags. Well, he'd put a couple bungee cords and slide us kids in there, and we'd bounce all the way down Baja, giggling and laughing, having a great time. Well, during those pre-runs, 6-year-old Evan got real used to hearing every creak and rattle. You put that truck in gear and you could hear the driveline clunk, the yokes clunking. And sure enough, we got to San Felipe, and I told my sisters after eating lunch, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Okay, well, my parents come get back in the car, and I'm in the bathroom doing my business. And all of a sudden, I hear this familiar vehicle start up. I think I know that vehicle. And then sure enough, he puts it in drive. I hear that driveline clunking. Hell yeah, I know that vehicle. Up comes the pants, out the door I go, and I see my youngest sister's eyes this big looking out the back window. I see my oldest sister pounding on the front window trying to get my dad's attention. And I'm chasing them down the road. I got little Evan mud tears running down my face, chasing after him. I swear I see my dad looking in the mirror watching me. I'm thinking, okay, he's testing my never give up that he's installing me. I kept running. Finally, he pulls over. And my reward, they wiped the mud tears off Evan's face. They hug me, tell me they love me. And my reward, I got to ride up front with my parents for a little while. And I get to making faces at my sisters in the back. I get to ride up front. Well, that didn't last. I didn't make it out of San Felipe, and I found myself in the back because I think they figured out real quick I didn't have time to wipe my britches. Thank you guys for coming. You guys have a great evening. My earliest memories of off-road racing, my dad had come home from work on his truck, put a second set of shocks on it, and then he would take a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, put over the bed, put some sleeping bags on it, put a camper shell on that, and when us kids would get to go pre-run, that was our spot.
Kept saying, Dad, I want to race too. So I got him a small Honda 150 and put him on the motorcycle, but I had to hold the bike up because his feet were too short to even reach the ground.
And he let me go, and I went and won the first race, and everybody else disqualified me and said that we cheated.
That was the start of Evan's racing career.
After driving the Datsun, I got an opportunity to drive for my dad, which was my dream come true. That's what I've been working for. That was all I'd ever wanted, is to be involved with the top team, Walker Evans.
Then he came to work for me. We started putting a Jeep Cherokee together. He worked on it every day at my shop, and he started racing it. It was fast, it was good. Evan was right on with it and started winning races. He took me for a ride even in it, and I was a little concerned about it. I said, better slow this thing down, Evan.
After winning 4 out of 5 races, I broke my back in a non-racing motorcycle accident. It was tragedy. It was the worst thing that could have happened to my career.
Then one evening I got the telephone call that Evan was in the hospital with a broken back.
It's breaking the news to me that I'd paralyzed myself. And the first words out of my mouth to him were, but we can still put hand controls in it. I keep racing, right?
Still got to race. I want to race. I'll get out of here and we'll race. I said, I know you will, Evan. I know you will.
At that point, I don't think my dad really wanted to hear it. He's seeing his son laying in the hospital, paralyzed, hurt. And that's the last thing he wanted to hear. But that was the only thing on my mind, is get back in that race car. I went through rehab as quick as I could. 2 days after I was signed out of the rehab facility, I was in the driving seat of my truck in the Baja 1000.
When he got out of it, he was out front with the car, and Brian got in it and kept it out front and went all the way to La Paz and won the race.
But as soon as I stumbled on great hand controls, I went short course racing, and the skies lit up for me. Everything started happening, and Chevrolet came along on board, and that's when my career blew up.
I had no idea that he had the confidence, the desire. He possessed way more than me. Look where he's at. He builds his own cars, hand controls, goes out there and wins races. A paraplegic bouncing through that kind of stuff, phenomenal.
Also, congratulations on being the winningest driver in truck racing history in Soda.
Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, this Chevy American racing truck, it's really performed well for me.
How hard you made me work to try and race with you and against you. I still think you probably beat me more than I beat you, but it was a heck of a time.
We're both driving Chevy Thunder trucks, kind of in reverse paint schemes. The bond he and his team had, the commitment they had, his mantra of never giving up, and just how inspiring that was.
Chevrolet came to me and offered me a chance to race up Pikes Peak.
And this is Evan Evans, paralyzed from the waist down in a non-racing motorcycle accident, running the Duramax diesel. Now, he would set a record for a diesel truck. He would finish in a time of 13 minutes, 34.63 seconds. He would also be named 2000 Rookie of the Year in High Performance Showroom Stock.
What was great about short course racing, and especially at Crandon, is I was racing there too. He'd be on the track and so would I.
Straddle trying to go after it, loops it, and Evan Evans does it. 2 on the row. Is this gentleman, Evan Evans, going to win his 4th in a row? If he does, he'll be the first Pro 2 driver to ever do that, and he does!
And it's amazing that you were able to do it twice, basically work your way up. I really admire that. I've always admired how hard you work, and once again, congratulations.
Congratulations to you, and see you very soon, friend.
Great racing against you, and once again, congratulations. Hall of Fame, baby. You deserve it.
To know that my son, Evan Evans, how good you've run in short course and how much you've enjoyed it, and we and all your sponsors have watched you do it. What a thrill.
And you're the winningest professional driver here at Bark River now with a total of 7, but from what I understand, you've also broke the track record that a Pro 4 previously held, my man. Congratulations, you hold the new track record here.
I tell you what, that's a thrill, but what's even more thrilling on top of that is today's my anniversary. 14 years ago today, I broke my back. And if you work hard, never give up, and have dreams and never give up, you can accomplish anything. I'm so proud to be here.